captains, welcome back to the next episode where we are finishing installing the Hawaiian Islands. So I am on 4 right now, as I am in this video here. Now the thing is, I also installed GSX after I uninstalled, because the last time we were in Hawaii we were using the MegaScenery textures and they didn't look as good. They really didn't. So I uninstalled the MegaScenery Hawaiian textures and I reactivated from the Rico website the Hawaiian Islands 3-volume set, which have, in my opinion, a better version of this section of the world. It just looks better. Now, looking at this airport in the video, that is when I just installed the Hawaiian Islands, and that's pretty much it. So it's got the Rex Airport HD add-on, and it's got the Rico Hawaiian Islands, and that's pretty much it. There was no weather activated in there, so we didn't have any weather. In the sim now, obviously I've put in GSX, and it keeps putting me on the jetways whenever I ask to be put on a runway. So we don't line up at the runway anymore. We'll always have to go to the runway, or I'll just start the video when we are on the runway. And that's a new addition. That's something I haven't actually used before. This is the first time I've used GSX, so I'm a bit of a newbie to it. What I also installed is my Honolulu airport from FSDreamTeam. We saw what difference it did to DFW. So now let's see what difference it does to the Hawaiian Islands with the photoreal scenery surrounding it. I enjoyed the Rex Airport's HD version. I didn't think there was anything wrong with their version. It was a bit sparse, but it was okay. And as you can see, I think in the video we got about 30 frames a second, sort of on average, and in this one we're getting about 20 to 25. So let's take off and let's see what the difference is. Now, looking at the view, I can see that there is a slight difference. Obviously we see airplanes here in these hangars that are not present in the video, but the mountains seem closer than they do in the video. They seem a bit further away in the video, so I don't know if that's what that is. But I'm going to try and keep the views very similar. So when we look out the side here, we see a little bit more, just like a tad. The runway, the taxiways, I think they're a bit better in this sim than they are in the video. So Rex Airport's HD is okay, but I do prefer this. These look more real. The terrain surrounding it is pretty much the same. There is no real difference there. There is more activity at the airport here now, rather than just having the flat thing. The distance again looks the same. Now there's extra vehicles, and I think it kind of, they've also, by the looks of it, added on their own scenery on top of the free mesh, because here's the free mesh like in the video, but this texturing looks different. So same over here. Now we have actual buildings rather than being flat in the sim. Our frames are probably about, we've probably lost about 5 frames, but we've actually got a highway here with cars on it, and the now we're getting into the mesh, so our frames should pretty much, I think, steady out to be the same, really. So the airport, yeah, the airport definitely looks good. I mean, yeah, this is all the same, to be honest, so I don't think I'm going to actually continue flying into the mountains, because it all looks exactly the same. What we want to do is do a flyover of the airports. So I'm just going to queue up the video to where we flew back over, which was about here. We're going to get some altitude, and we're going to do a turn without stalling. The aircraft. Oh, come on, keep it. By the looks of it in the video, the weather is just being handled by P3D itself. There's no engine in that video, and it looks like it's doing an okay job. I think I do prefer these type of textures and the way the weather's handled. I think it's a lot better than it was before. Right, so coming about over to the same spot in the video soon, so we should. We're not at the same altitude. We're a bit lower, to be honest, so we can get a bit higher, I reckon. Right, and then we'll cue the video about here. Right, so let's get a bit higher so we can afford a bit of speed loss now. The looking off into the distance here, I think it does really look nice. The photoreal textures and the airport blend a lot better than the MegaScenery one did, and even Rex HD, because I think the FSDreamTeam, the Honolulu add-on, uses its own photoreal within this here, so and it does match up quite nicely, I think, you know, because of the water. It does look good. So there's quite a large area that they actually handle. So up to this road here is all them. And looking at the video and looking at what we've got here, there is a difference, but it's only very minor. It's only very slight. Now we've lost considerable frames, to be fair, compared to, looks like we crashed our plane there. But we were getting a lot better frame rates in the we were definitely getting a lot better frame rates before, but FSDreamTeam, you know, is doing a lot more, you know. So let's turn. Well, we have to turn around actually and land into the wind. So. Couple of turns here and come on down. We need to get lower. Yeah, this I mean, this is just Honolulu. This is just one island, and it's the smallest island in Honolulu, and we're in a C-152, so the terrain isn't as grandiose, I suppose, as it could be, but we've seen that it's better than what ORBX handles. And it's obviously definitely better than the default, although we never did come here to see the default itself. I'm pretty sure that the default is not going to get anywhere close to what we see here. So I'm very happy with Hawaii. I've also installed, I got hold of the Hawaiian airports from the FSDreamTeam as well. Oh, we turned a bit too early. Let's turn off. We're going to end up crashing this plane. Series a turn to reduce our speed. There we go. We didn't leave it long enough, really, did we? We can't do a landing like this. Let's go out to the ocean and come back around. So yeah, I'm really happy with what's happening in the sim. Now, when installing all this stuff, I did come across a couple of niggles and a couple of things. So when I uninstalled the Hawaiian Mega Scenery, one thing I didn't do before I left the sim, which I found out is really crucial. Otherwise, your sim will not start the next time you start it. It will just hang on the splash screen. So when you know you're going to remove scenery from either the sim or the computer, when you're going to delete it off your hard drive, remove it from the scenery library first. And as we all know, that just means the sim now is not going to recognize it and it's still sitting on your hard drive somewhere. Then remove it from the hard drive. I did not know this. I removed it from the hard drive, and then it was still kind of like, it wasn't sitting in my sim obviously, but the sim thought I still had that software. So when I started to load up P3D next time, I'm sure it was probably going, well, where is this, where is it, you know? We ain't got it. So it wouldn't start until I went into my config file for scenery and actually turned it to false under the name, because it was still in there. You know, it hadn't removed it from the config file, so I had to turn and put that as a false where it says active. It'll say true or false, and false means it's turned off. It's still in the scenery library, but the simulator is going to ignore it basically. Now the sim started and I was able to start my simulator in order to get into my scenery library, and whilst the simulator was actually on, I went back into my scenery config file and I said for it to be active, and then saved it, and then we definitely need to slow down here. Yeah, flaps are being damaged. Asked for it to be saved, and then opened up my scenery library, and there it was sitting in the scenery library list. Then I was able to delete it and then exit the simulator, and then it was actually deleted from the scenery library config file and not just sitting there causing havoc, and the simulator loaded next time perfectly, no trouble. So I learned something there basically. Right, so we're full flaps. We're really hitting it now. I'm just trying to get this down as soon as possible, by the way, guys. The layout, I think, here is slightly different now that FSDreamTeam have taken hold of the airport. But I do like it. It's got airplanes. It's got one of them actually just nosedived into the airport there, so that's fun. But it's, yeah, the airport looks a lot better. The island looks great, and now I can leave Hawaii and concentrate back in America and installing scenery for America. So we've been to the Grand Canyon on default. I've also got, there we go. I've also got Mega Scenery for the continents that the Grand Canyon goes through, but then also I've got the Grand Canyon Mega Scenery stuff as a higher resolution than what the states provide. So I'm going to install all that, and then we're going to go to the Grand Canyon in the next video. I don't think there's pretty much anything else to show because I've only installed this airport, so and ground services. So thanks for watching this video. I think Hawaii looks amazing compared to when we first flew here. The very first time we flew here, it looks nothing like this, and our frames are okay. We've getting now 35 frames, which is okay, but before it was it's a bit up and down. So that'll be it for this video. In the next video, as I say, the Grand Canyon, and until then, guys, take care. Bye bye.